Hello, everyone. Welcome to Interbeing Sangha online. So glad that you decided to join me tonight. You know, I guess we're kind of getting used to this, but personally, I don't want to get too used to it. I'm ready to see everybody in person. But anyway, so I want to say hello to Sarah. Sarah has told me that she's here, so thank you, Sarah. Um, and I noticed that there are a lot of other people online. Oh, Lisa Garrett, hello, hello, good to see you. Um, you may notice also if you're looking at the chat box, you notice that there is a link for discussion after our YouTube broadcast ends. So when we finish with this part, we will sign off and then move over to the Zoom platform so we can see one another and actually have a chat. So that will be nice. That will be very nice. So I hope everybody's doing well. Um, I've been, doing my best to slow down, which you would think would be easy, since we can't really go anywhere. But it hasn't been as easy as I might have expected. In fact, I feel like I'm working more now than I did when everything was open and running. There's a lot to take care of, even when we're not able to come to the meditation center. So I always really like it when I'm able to come here on a Wednesday night. Um, I'm not sure I could do this from home. I have my mother there and my husband there. We have a really small house. Probably wouldn't be very quiet and not very conducive to meditation. So I'm really glad that I can come here and maybe just give you a little bit of the feeling of being at home in our space. Um, so I see a few other people have um, joined in, and the chat room will stay open, the whole time. So if you want to just let us know that you're here, that would be great. Um, so I want to invite the bell, and then I will read the contemplation before sitting. I'm a little bit curious about how can you hear the bell? Just like I said, curious. Um, I think you hear me okay, but I was just curious if you could hear the bell. So nice to see that Rebecca, Becca, and Kaylee are here. I haven't seen you since we were at CSL. So how great, great. I'm so glad you could join in tonight. And Jennifer is here. Hello, Jennifer. Um, oh, Sarah, yeah. You can hear the bell, but not like in person. Yeah, exactly. All right. So let me read the contemplation before sitting. Well, perhaps before we do that, I just want to talk a little bit about the guided meditation that I'm going to use tonight. This is a meditation that comes from Thich Nhat Hanh's little book called the Mindfulness Survival Kit. And it's a metta meditation. Um, but it's um, a little more comprehensive than the one that we typically do, because typically we just do a very short sentence, four very short sentences, and this is much more inclusive and really helps us take a look at our feelings, which I think is important, during this time. Um, so it will follow the same format. We'll begin with ourselves, and then we'll call to mind someone else that we would like to send these wishes to, and and then we'll do another person or even a group of people if you like. And at the end, we will include somebody that may be difficult for you to send these wishes to. That one, I always say, is optional. You really don't want to do it if you can't do it sincerely. First of all, it wouldn't work. And then um, it kind of di- diminishes, I think, the power of the meditation. So just, follow your heart. And if you're ready to be compassionate and loving towards somebody that's very difficult to love, then do it. And if you're not ready, don't do it. No judgment, no recriminations, nothing like that. Just do it or not. So, the contemplation before sitting. The Sangha is invited to go back to our breathing so that our collective energy of mindfulness brings us together as an organism, going as a river with no more separation. Let the whole Sangha breathe as one body, generate peace as one body, be free as one body. Let us transcend the boundaries of a delusive self, liberating ourselves from the superiority complex, the inferiority complex, and the equality complex. We are aware that the happiness and suffering of all people is also our own happiness and suffering. We see ourselves in all people and all people in ourselves. We are one with those caught in situations of oppression. We are also one with the oppressors. We are one with the wise and good people who are present everywhere in the world. We are one with those who are able to embrace the whole of this world with their heart of love and their two arms of caring action. We are a people with enough peace, joy, and freedom to be able to offer fearlessness and the joy of life to living beings around us. We see that we are not alone. The love and the joy of great beings who are present in this world are supporting us, not allowing us to drown in despair, and showing us the way of understanding, compassion, and right action. So I invite you to settle into your meditation posture, whether you're sitting on a cushion, in a chair, or even lying down. Just be comfortable, but maybe not so comfortable that you're going to fall asleep. If you're sitting in a chair, allow yourself to feel supported by the chair, knowing that the chair is supported by the floor underneath you and the earth under the floor. And just let your weight settle in to the chair, the cushion. And then allow your eyes to just very gently close. Let your eyelids softly rest over your eyes. And before we begin our metta meditation, see if you can relax any tension that might be in your body, particularly paying attention to neck and shoulders and back. And let's just do 2 or 3 breaths, using the exhale to let go of that tension. So breathing in and then letting go. Breathing in, letting go. Breathing in, letting go. Now let's continue the metta meditation. Remember that first we begin with ourselves. I'll say a sentence and invite you to think it in your mind. May I be peaceful, happy, and light in body and spirit. May I be peaceful, happy, and light in body and spirit. May I be safe and free from injury. May I be safe and free from injury. May I learn to look at myself with the eyes of understanding and love. May I learn to look at myself with the eyes of understanding and love. May I recognize and be in touch with the seeds of happiness within myself. May I recognize and be in touch with the seeds of happiness within myself. May I identify and embrace the sources of suffering in myself. May I identify and embrace the sources of suffering in myself. May I nourish the seeds of joy in myself every day. May I nourish the seeds of joy in myself every day. May I live fresh, solid, and free. May I live fresh, solid, and free. May I be free from attachment and aversion, but not be indifferent. May I be free from attachment and aversion, but not be indifferent. And now I invite you to call to mind someone other than yourself. Typically, we like to call to mind someone that we don't know all that well. In this environment, I like to think of the people that are delivering the mail, grocery clerks, people that are delivering things, doctors, nurses, those kind of people. If you know someone in that capacity, you might think of that person directly. May you be peaceful, happy, and light in body and spirit. May you be peaceful, happy, and light in body and spirit. May you be safe and free from injury. May you be safe and free from injury. May you be free from anger, afflictions, fear, and anxiety. May you be free from anger, afflictions, fear, and anxiety. May you learn to look at yourself with the eyes of understanding and love. May you learn to look at yourself with the eyes of understanding and love. May you recognize and be in touch with the seeds of happiness within you. May you recognize and be in touch with the seeds of happiness within you. May you identify and embrace the sources of suffering in yourself. May you identify and embrace the sources of suffering in yourself. May you nourish the seeds of joy in yourself every day. May you nourish the seeds of joy in yourself every day. May you live fresh, solid, and free. May you live safe, solid, fresh, and free. May you be free from attachment and aversion, but not be indifferent. May you be free from attachment and aversion, but not be indifferent. And now, if you like, you might call to mind people that you do know quite well, people you love, people you care about. And with that person or persons in mind, may you be peaceful, happy, and light in body and spirit. May you be peaceful, happy, and light in body and spirit. May you be safe and free from injury. May you be safe and free from injury. May you be free from anger, afflictions, fear, and anxiety. May you be free from anger, afflictions, fear, and anxiety. May you learn to look at yourself with the eyes of understanding and love. May you learn to look at yourself with the eyes of understanding and love. May you recognize and be in touch with the seeds of happiness within you. May you recognize and be in touch with the seeds of happiness within you. May you identify and embrace the sources of suffering in yourself. May you identify and embrace the sources of suffering in yourself. May you nourish the seeds of joy in yourself every day. May you nourish the seeds of joy in yourself every day. May you live fresh, solid, and free. May you live fresh, solid, and free. May you be free from attachment and aversion, but not be indifferent. May you be free from attachment and aversion, but not be indifferent. And now, if you're ready, you can call to mind that difficult person. And if you're not ready, just bring to mind someone else that you know, someone you'd like to send these messages to. May you be peaceful, happy, and light in body and spirit. May you be safe and free from injury. May you be free from anger, afflictions, fear, and anxiety. May you learn to look at yourself with the eyes of understanding and love. May you recognize and be in touch with the seeds of happiness within you. May you identify and embrace the sources of suffering in yourself. May you nourish the seeds of joy in yourself every day. May you live fresh, solid, and free. May you be free from attachment and aversion, but not be indifferent. Now we'll circle back to ourselves, and I will just read each 3 lines and give you some time to take it in. May I be peaceful, happy, and light in body and spirit. May I be safe and free from injury. May I be free from anger, afflictions, fear, and anxiety. May I learn to look at myself with the eyes of understanding and love. May I recognize and be in touch with the seeds of happiness within myself. May I identify and embrace the sources of suffering in myself. May I nourish the seeds of joy in myself every day. May I live fresh, solid, and free. May I be free from attachment and aversion, but not be indifferent. Let's just sit for a minute or so and let all of that settle in. Just breathe in all of those good wishes, nurturing those seeds within us. So if you've been sitting on the floor or even in a chair, you might want to stretch out your legs and move your shoulders. Thank you for sharing that meditation with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Um, there are always elements in this meditation. I've done it many, many times, but there's always something that kind of stands out to me. And one of the things that stood out to me today is the sentence that says, may I identify and embrace the sources of suffering in myself. That's not something I think that comes easily to most of us, to embrace the sources of suffering. And yet we know that if we deny, suppress, try to reject, the suffering just gets worse. So may we all learn to embrace the sources of suffering in ourselves and find an ease on the other side of that. So eventually we will get back to our times together. And in the meantime, I thought we might as well just continue reading from No Mud, No Lotus. Um, so the chapter that we stopped on is the fifth one, which Thai calls 5 practices for nurturing happiness. And so if you've been doing this with us, you may remember that first he told us there's a difference between joy and happiness. And then there was a short section called Why the Buddha Kept Meditating. That was a very interesting little paragraph to me. And so let me just read this one sentence. He says, in order for happiness to be extended and renewed, you have to learn how to feed your happiness. And if we want to enjoy our meditation, we have to continue to feed it. So the first practice he called letting go. I think we just practiced that. Letting go of fear and anxiety, attachments. And then we read the part called Releasing Your Cows, which is another way of saying letting go of your burdens, the things that might be hindering you from being happy. And then we read the story of Badaya. This story was interesting because Badaya was he had just become a monk. And one evening he was overheard. He was sitting at the foot of a tree, and suddenly he uttered the words, "Oh, my happiness, oh, my happiness." There was another monk sitting nearby, and he completely misunderstood. And so he reported to the Buddha what he had heard Badaya say. So the Buddha sent for him and asked him, is it true that last night during sitting meditation you said 2 times, oh my happiness, oh my happiness? And Badaya said, yes, I did say that. And so the Buddha said, can you tell us why you said this? And this is Badaya's answer. Dear teacher, when I was a governor, my palace was guarded by hundreds of soldiers, but I was still very afraid. I was afraid robbers would come and kill me or at least take away all my valuables. So day and night I lived in fear. But last night I realized that now I have nothing to lose. I was sitting out in the forest at the foot of a tree, and never in my life have I felt so safe. Nobody wants to kill me anymore because I have no power, no wealth, and no jewels for anyone to take. I have nothing, yet I finally have everything. I am touching such a great happiness and freedom. That's why I have pronounced the words, oh my happiness, oh my happiness. We have to be careful, I guess, how we listen in on somebody else's meditation or even their conversation because it's so easy to misunderstand. So the second practice is inviting positive seeds, which we just did. And the third practice is called mindfulness-based joy. Um, and a part of that is a section called enjoying sittings. So a part of our mindfulness practice is sitting. And this is what Thich says in this book about sitting. Sitting meditation is also an opportunity to heal and create moments of joy. It's not a time when you force yourself to sit there, waiting for the bell announcing the end of the sitting. That would be a waste. These are very rare, very precious moments of life, moments you will never get back again. Many people in the world don't have the time to sit and do nothing like that. They consider it to be uneconomical or a luxury. They say, time is money. But we know that sitting can be very healing, very profitable in its own way. So we have to learn how to enjoy every moment of our sitting, how to breathe, how to sit, so that every moment of our sitting can be nourishing and healing. um, I would like to be able to say that every time I sit, it's easy and nourishing. But if I'm honest, I have to admit that there have been times when I was sitting and wishing for the sound of the bell. I've told this story to some of you, but one time when I was facilitating a noon meditation at the meditation center on Floyd Road, one of the participants was a young woman named Ashley. Ashley is a gifted writer, poet, activist, and she doesn't live in Dallas anymore. But so Ashley was there, and at the end of our meditation, and at the end of noon meditation, if you've ever done that, there is a time when you go around the circle and people can say what they experienced or the meditation or whatever's on their mind or something about the reading. Anyway, when we got to Ashley, she said that she had a hard time with that meditation, and she said at one point all she could think of was, Bobbie, ring the damn bell. So I don't know that I've said it exactly that way, but I have to admit, I have wished for the bell to ring. So this is something to work on for me, is enjoying sitting every time I sit. I never think of it as a waste of time, though. I will say that. I know it's not a waste of time. And I do know that even if the meditation hasn't felt particularly productive to me, that my body and my brain have benefited. So I always know it's a good thing, even if I don't necessarily feel like it was. I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are about that. Um, then I also wanted to share with you um, something from this book, Answers from the Heart, which is a compilation of questions that and questions that people have asked Thich Nhat Hanh at retreats and other events where he's speaking. And then his answers are in the book. So this particular question is in a chapter that is labeled Engaged Buddhism. And the questioner said, if you're able to reach a state of deep peace and love, are you being helpful to the world? And this is what Tai answered. You're helping the world in many ways. The first thing you're doing is being peace, being love. That's already a big contribution. But once you embody peace and love, everything you do will be for peace and love. You won't be able to refrain from doing good things for the world. Like the Buddha, you will be motivated by a very strong desire to go out and help. The person who has become peace and love won't be able to refrain from doing things for the world. And we can always improve. The Buddha was awake, in quotes, awake. And he had a Sangha, yet he continued to work and practice. His community was always expanding, and while he helped others become teachers, the Buddha continued to practice and teach. If you think your work is finished, it's not. It will never be. You have to continue. Love is unlimited. Compassion is unlimited. Joy and equanimity are unlimited. You know, I think when we are gathering, even in small groups like this, even when we can't be together in person, um, I really feel that we are contributing an energy of peace and love and compassion, and it spills out. It really does. Um, when you're able to go out, maybe you go to the grocery store, there's a deeper compassion for the people that are there, helping to keep it open, making it possible for us to buy groceries. So when we are being peace, being love, being compassion, as he says, it's impossible for it not to spill out. And that's how we contribute in a powerful way. So maybe something else you'd like to share about when we continue our discussion. So I'm going to close this part of the session. I'd like to read one more thing from Thich Nhat Hanh. I'm not sure where this came from, but I think it's just so beautiful and so relevant. He said, let us be at peace with our bodies and our minds. Let us return to ourselves and become wholly ourselves. Let us be aware of the source of being common to us all and to all living beings. Evoking the presence of the great compassion, let us fill our hearts with our own compassion towards ourselves and towards all living beings. Let us pray that we ourselves cease to be the cause of suffering to each other. With humility, with awareness of the existence of life and of the suffering that is going on around us, let us practice the establishment of peace in our hearts and on earth. Thich Nhat Hanh. So I'm going to chant our closing chant. If you want to do that with me in the presence of your own home, please join. Countless beings we vow to free, ceaseless afflictions we vow to end, limitless dharma doors we vow to open, the deepest paths of awakening we vow to realize. In the Interbeing Sangha, we like to share the merit. When we practice in this way, we earn merit. If you're new to this practice, maybe that sounds odd to you, but we don't get merit badges like you do when you're in the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts, but we get a certain amount of merit for our practice. And so rather than stack it up to see how much merit can I gain, we like to share it. And so these 4 sentences are about sharing the merit. Practicing the way of awareness and mindfulness gives rise to benefits without limit. We vow to share the fruits with all beings. We vow to offer tribute to parents, teachers, friends, and numerous beings who give guidance and support along the path. Now, thank you so much. I hope all of you will join the Zoom room so we can see and talk to one another. If you look in the chat box, you'll notice there are 2 places where you can find that link. All you have to do is click on that link and you'll be there. So I'm going to end this stream and meet you in Zoom. Have a wonderful evening if I don't see you again, and I hope you'll join me again on Sunday, Wednesday night, whenever you decide you can appreciate another online Sangha. So good night, and I hope to see you on Zoom.